Hi everyone, and welcome to another Sketchbook Sunday episode. Today I'm going to be painting hydrangeas, and I hope I am saying that type of flower correctly. I'm sort of new to the flower world of watercolor painting because I was never really good at flowers, or at least I never tried painting them because they looked really complicated to paint. But I've been getting more into them recently, and these hydrangeas are inspired by the ones that grew outside my grandparents' apartment building in Poland, and I would visit them every single summer, so I sort of have really good memories that center around these flowers. And they had the cream colored ones growing outside their apartment, but I'm going to be painting the slightly more vibrant and colorful red, blue, and purple ones. So basically, to get started, you don't even have to have any pigment for the first step. You can just wet your paintbrush and basically paint on these wet circles, and you can paint them on in sort of three flower petals that join in the center, but you want to make sure that you leave a very tiny space or circle in between each one of your three petals, and it's because that's sort of going to be the center of each one of those tiny flowers that are on a hydrangea flower. And then once you've basically painted on a bunch of those, you're going to add pigment to them by dabbing the paint very lightly in not quite the center, because again you want to leave that white circle there, but just around the center of the flower, and that will allow the pigment to spread to the rest of the petals. And you want to do it more on the center of the flower. Obviously you want to do it on all of them, but just make them more pigmented in the center of the flower, and that's what will give it that's what will give off more of a realistic feel to the flower. And now what you can see me doing here, obviously you want to do this when the first layer of your flowers have dried, but basically you're taking even more pigment and you're just very gently outlining those tiny little circles where the flower petals meet. And you're also filling in those tiny gaps that aren't the center of your flowers. They're just kind of the gaps, the triangular gaps in between the flower petals. You're filling those in with pigment as well. And again, you want to focus that more towards the center of your flower and not necessarily do it in every single space, because when you look at a hydrangea, you can see that the center of the flower has more layer to it, like it has flowers behind it, whereas the ones towards the edges, the flower petals towards the edges, are more exposed to light, so they're not going to necessarily be filled with pigment, so just keep that in mind when you're filling in all those little gaps. I didn't show you the rest of the flowers because I thought it would be quite redundant. I basically used the exact same technique for all of the flowers, but I just used different colors. As I mentioned earlier, red, purple, and blue. But you're just repeating the exact same technique for all of the flowers. And as you can see me doing here, I'm just adding the stems and the leaves to the hydrangeas. I would recommend actually penciling in a very light guide for this part, because at least when I try painting on stems or adding stems to flower paintings, I always mess them up. I either make them too thick or just in the wrong angle. So if you just pencil in the stems and the leaves, it will make the painting a lot easier and much more stress-free. At least it does for me. And then you just want to paint stems coming from most of the flowers, and even add a few leaves just to spruce it up a little bit. Also, I don't know about you guys, but I really like painting paintings that span across both pages of my sketchbook, especially when they're vertical. I don't know, it it's such a summery and warm feel. I know that's really strange to maybe say, but I just really like doing that. Especially when they're kind of lengthy vertical paintings. So flowers, if you include the stems, tend to be more vertical than horizontal, so that sort of pattern works perfectly for a sketchbook that is quite long vertically, at least when you flip it onto the side. By the way, guys, if you don't mind, I would really appreciate if you clicked the like button on this video, because it does help expose my video to more viewers, and I'm really making an effort to grow my channel so that I could provide even more watercolor painting tutorials for you. So, it only takes you a second. You could have clicked the button, 10 times in the last few seconds, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you do enjoy these sort of tutorials. And also, if you have any specific suggestions or types of flowers or anything, even if it's not flower related, that you'd like to see me paint and do a tutorial on, please comment them below, because I do these for you. So obviously if you have something in mind that you'd like me to paint, I'm sure that some of my other viewers also share that desire. That's about it for today, everybody. Again, if you enjoyed my video, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel, and also check out some of my previous watercolor videos. Bye guys!